didn't want to be here anymore. I let it get to that point before I went, shit, enough's enough. I can't remember what sparked it, but two of them both came back with the same response around mental. They're like, oh God, everyone's got depression these days. People just use it as an excuse, you know, just for being sad. Oh, I'm depressed. I remember sitting there going, oh God. I was diagnosed with depression in late 2018, having sort of papered up the cracks for a number of years. There was always a running joke that I was bipolar from quite young, and it was a running joke because I didn't have any knowledge of what bipolar was, and nor did my teammates or my friends or my family. It would always be, you never know what Joe you're going to get. I was getting quite a fair amount of heat in the rugby world from my on-field misdemeanours, and I just presumed it was because I was getting quite a lot of heat there, that I was struggling with the pressure of it all, didn't know how to deal with the wrongdoings. I said, look, falling out of love with rugby, I need some break, and that's what I did. I had my 5 weeks off, enjoyed it, spent time with the kids, family, and then came back energised, hoping to start again. And I did, but as I described, a few months in, I'd start feeling similar thoughts as what I had prior. So it was starting to click a bit like, hang on, this isn't necessarily rugby related. This isn't related to the pressures that I have as a professional. It was like, okay, what else is going on? I think I had a tendency to paper over those cracks and not really confront it or think of it as a real issue, because primarily, I didn't want to show any weakness to my friends, my family particularly, and my teammates, that, hang on, something's wrong with me. I also didn't want to confront it myself. I didn't want to admit that, is there something wrong with me? What is going on? I just wanted to try and cling on to the high moments that I was having and sort of level moments that I was having, but they were coming less and less. I would say I'm still way behind where I want to be in terms of the toolkit that I've got. I let it get to a point where I nearly destroyed the best thing in my life, which is my wife and my family. That was at my darkest point, that I didn't want to be here anymore. I let it get to that point before I went, shit, enough's enough. This is actually what I'm living for. These are the people that I'm living for. And I still want to be here. I want to stay here with them. So how do I stay there in a better place? Let's go find someone. And it was then talking to a psychiatrist, which I found actually really easy to do. The hardest part is opening up to the people closest to you, because you feel like you don't want to burden them. You feel like you don't want to put any more stress on their lives, because you need to be this rock, you need to be this solid, I'm gonna go out and get all the wood and then I'll come back and I'll make a fire, not indoors because that's dangerous, and then I'll get food. You know, that traditional alpha that you do. My wife doesn't need me going, look, I don't know what's going on in my head at the moment, I'm really struggling. That's what I thought. But what's the point in having those people close to you if you're not going to lean on each other in your time of darkness, in the time when you most need them? So that was tough, opening up to the people closest. I found it easy opening up to a stranger. And I'd advise that, I'd encourage that it's actually a lot easier. The hard bit is opening up to people close to you at the start. The easy bit is actually seeing a therapist, seeing a professional, opening up that conversation with them. I do remember an occasion with a couple of teammates. And this was before I'd spoken out about my depression or any mental health issues I'd had. And I can't remember what sparked it, but two of them both came back with the same response around mental. They're like, oh God, everyone's got depression these days. People just use it as an excuse, you know, just for being sad. Oh, I'm depressed. I remember sitting there going, oh God, I can't what are they gonna think of me then when I do turn around, or if I turn around and go, actually lads, I'm struggling myself. But then when I did come out, I made a documentary about my depression and different ways to deal with it and cope. A lot of boys were like, I didn't realise what you're actually going through, mate. I just thought you're a helmet. And then to have teammates and former teammates and friends and family as well message out of the blue that I hadn't spoken to for a while to say, hello mate, this resonates with me. This has made me have a conversation with my partner. I've now gone and seen someone, was probably the biggest satisfaction of why I wanted to actually publicly talk about it, because there's loads of people going through similar things that aren't in a position to publicly talk about it. As a 19-year-old, never in a million years, if I was in that position at 19, would I dreamt of saying boo to a goose, let alone talk about struggling, because it would have been batted away. Oh, you're soft. Such a soft cock, get on with it. What are you going on about? So that was the old school mindset. And there was still quite a bit of that when I was 26, 27, and played a huge part in why I didn't want to confront those issues publicly then either. But it was creeping out. And then now as a 32-year-old, Christ, fucking old. And the conversation's been going on for a couple of years now. You see loads of boys opening up now and appreciating that, yes, we need to be alphas on the pitch. We need to be alphas on the pitch. Of course we do. That's the sport we love. We need that environment to vent the masculine testosterone that we've got. Of course, that's what we need. Why can't we be both? When Paddy the Baddie came out and did that, it was unbelievable. What was his quote? He said, I'd rather be a shoulder for you to cry on than me crying at your funeral, something like that. And it was powerful. The weakness isn't sharing it, the weakness isn't seeking help on it. The tougher bit is equipping men, particularly, with the tools of how to listen, how to ask the right questions to get someone to open up. That's the next level, where you're actually empowering people with those tools so that conversations can flow. There's no way in hell younger self would listen to a single word I'd say to him. So there's my first problem. I saw a clip of Tom Hanks on there, and he was saying he wished he'd known this too shall pass. I was like, right, where's this going? And he describes it as when you're struggling, when in your darkest moment, in the tough times, this too shall pass. But I also questioned Tom Hanks, not personally, funnily enough. I haven't got him in my phone to call him up and say, oi, let me just call you out on this bit. I can't just sit there in my darkest moment and go, it'll pass. Because it won't. You do need tools. You do need someone or a network there to help you make it pass. So this too shall pass is great, but you also need some tools to help it pass, to take you to that next step of seeing the light a bit better.